Michael, thank you. Well, Dublin are unchanged after their Leinster final win over Westmeath 3 weeks ago. Stephen Cluxton is the first choice goalkeeper, and while his attack has been scoring for fun this year, the 5-time All-Star hasn't conceded a goal in the 2015 championship. The importance of Rory O'Carroll to the full back line can't be overstated. The Kilmacud Crokes man was struggling with injury in the early part of their campaign, but is back to full fitness and named at 3. The half-back line is as strong as it gets. John Small was included earlier in the run after a good league, but Cian O'Sullivan has taken on the centre-back position and is having another very strong year. The emergence of Brian Fenton has been a huge plus for Dublin. He made his first start against Monaghan at the end of the league, but has been very impressive since. Where do you start with the half-forward line? Well, perhaps with the 4-time All-Star Paul Flynn, who is roaring back to the sort of form which made him one of the standout players in the country. Jim Gavin always knew Dean Rock was a superb free-taker, but the challenge laid down to the corner forward was to contribute more from open play. Rock has been doing that in 2015. Fermanagh, here is their team for their biggest match in 11 years. Thomas Tracy was the sub-goalkeeper to Chris Snow last year. He played just once in the league, but in 2015 the roles are reversed and Tracy has been outstanding. There's a new fullback with Tiernan Daly on the bench. Marty O'Brien takes over at 3, having been named in the half-back line last weekend. James McMahon is a newcomer to the Fermanagh panel this year. He's played like a seasoned veteran. He's only 20. He's been one of the finds of the season for Pete McGrath. The Fermanagh midfield is very strong. Owen Donnelly had to go off injured against Westmeath. They coped with his loss, but he's developed into a top midfielder. He will give Dublin plenty to think about today. Rory Corrigan came on in Cavan last Saturday as a black card replacement for Ryan McCluskey. He caused havoc running at the Westmeath defenders. Today, he gets his chance to do that from the start. And Tomas Corrigan, he made all the scoring headlines last time. Sean Quigley has been outstanding for Fermanagh all year. He had a tough night with Freeze, but he's a player who isn't afraid to try things, and on top form, he will torment any defence. It's a big day for both managers, Jim Gavin and Pete McGrath of Fermanagh. Let's hear from both managers now. You've spent a week, I know, once you found out the draw, kind of genning up on Fermanagh. Tell me, give me your thoughts on their campaign so far.
Yeah, it's been very impressive since the qualifiers series. Obviously, before that, they had a very good divisional campaign and got promotion to Division 2. So we expect, you know, a very team who's playing some good football, defensively, solid structure. And up front, like Sean Quigley and Tomas Corrigan. The Corrigan Borders, in fact, will hurt. So it's going to be a very competitive game for us.
Now, you want to win, but apart from the win, what are the things you want to see your team do today?
Yeah, we're just looking for the win. You know, it's an All-Ireland quarter-final. It's top 8 and a win against the top 4, and that's completely our focus is on. We understand that conditions won't be great. We're playing against a very defensive system. We just need to play with control, and when the opportunity arises, hopefully we'll take them today.
What's the blueprint for today, without giving too much away?
Well, obviously, you're playing against one of the, if not the, maybe the best team in the country, so you've got to respect that. But we've got to match Dublin's intensity. We've got to match their craft. We have to be confident of our own ability. We have to do the things that we've done, you know, to date in our league and in our championship campaigns, do them again, defend solidly, move the ball forward quickly, support each other, and hopefully, you know, put a tax dead, or at least get at least an 80 or an 85% return on our scoring effort. So if all those things come together, and to beat a team like Dublin, they will have to come together, then I think we're in with a very, very positive, you know, chance of winning this game.
I must say it's great to see Pete McGrath back here on Croke Park on a big day, and confident as well in his side. But Joe Bradley, let's look at Dublin for a moment, because the thing about last year, Dublin coming up with, there's going to be a minute's silence here at Croke Park for your fellow countyman Aaron Delvin, of course, and this was a tragic event for not just for football, in life, that happened during the week.
Well, when a 22-year-old boy dies, there's nothing that anyone can say. I mean, he played football with a great spirit, you know, and he won a championship medal with Ballinderry when he was 18. When he was 20, he won an Ulster championship medal with them. He was a fun player, he was a skilled player. And, you know, he was very loved and very young. And, I mean, it's a disaster in that community and in the wider GAA community when a young person dies unaccountably like that, and there's really nothing that anyone can say, bar that he will not be forgotten and that people will always remember him, you know.
No, indeed, and the commiserations of the...
So Dennis Bastick is in, and so is Paddy Andrews, and Fermanagh have a free for Tomás Corrigan. 170 scored against Westmeath on the 45-metre line. He struck that nicely, but he's hit Rory Corrigan. And the shot from Barry Mulroney is wide again. So 2 wides for Fermanagh inside the opening 4 minutes.
Yeah, the problem with that shot from
in a lot of space. In front of him is Ryan McCluskey. Andrews looking for the first score from their first meaningful attack. And that's Paddy Andrews off the mark. Dublin by 1 point to no score.
Yeah, very well taken by Paddy Andrews. Doesn't bother going past his man, doesn't take the ball into contact, as we saw so much in the...
Declan McCusker of Fermanagh. Sean Quigley, that's Keane O'Sullivan there with him, and Quigley has got away from the Dublin centre-back. Sean Quigley, great scoring opportunity, taking the risk out of it by going with the left fist, and Fermanagh are level. Their first score from their 4th attack in the 8th minute of this All-Ireland quarter-final. 1-each, Sean Quigley off the mark.
Yeah, I'm delighted to see Sean Quigley scoring that. Read a lovely piece in the paper, I think, by Joe this morning about the fact that he had a pizza. A lovely piece in the paper, I think, by Joe this morning about the fact that he had a pizza at 2 in the morning before the Monaghan game.
Who, Joe did? No.
No.
Here's Kieran Kilkenny. Paddy Andrews started brightly. Ryan McCluskey behind him. Bernard Brogan. Oh, lovely turn from Brogan. That's James McMahon there with him. Brogan, it all slowed down for him. Dean Rock surrounded. Rock got rid of the ball to Kieran Kilkenny. Bit of a gap. Point number. Beautiful pass into the chest of Kieran Kilkenny. Brian Fenton. Fenton letting that go long. Bernard Brogan is in behind Barry Mulroney, and Brogan slots that over. Lovely passage of precise in front of him. And Brian Fenton as well, and Cooper continues his run forward. Kieran Kilkenny, this is a menacing attack, and Kilkenny does his stuff in front of the post. That's his 2nd out of Dublin's 4. Very... Well, Fermanagh have a free now, but they're under a fair bit of pressure on their own kickouts. Declan McCusker, well read by Jack McCaffrey. Gets it back from Kieran Kilkenny. Brian Fenton. McCaffrey wraps around, then goes long with the ball in towards Bernard Brogan. He's in. Goal written all over this, and it is a goal. Fabulous pass, and Brogan, as he's done several times in this match already, just sneaking in behind his marker, read the flight of the ball perfectly, and Dublin on their way, 1-4-1.
That's absolutely delightful, but again, Brogan loses his man far too easily. The Fermanagh cornerback, I think it was number 4, Niall Cassidy, let him off, but the quality of the pass, the flight.
Tomás Corrigan keeping the head down as he struck the ball, and that's their 2nd point. A loose pass, but comes to Dennis Bastick. Now Paddy Andrews showing extremely well for the ball. Referee playing an advantage, back with Brian Fenton. Fenton gets it back from Owen Donnelly. Back they go again, Paddy Andrews. James McCarthy. It's Philly McMahon ahead of him. Ballymun contingent. Kieran Kilkenny. Dermot Connolly. Beautiful. Gorgeous score.
Isn't simplicity such a lovely thing to see in Gaelic football? The quality of the kick that time, just head down, beautiful striking motion, very impressive score from probably...
A clever run forward. Is there a point at the end of it? Well, he's dropped it short. Another one that has been off target. A slip from Stephen Cluxton gives the ball to Ryan McCluskey. Tomás Corrigan in search of point number 3 and his 2nd of the afternoon, and he's got it. From Cluxton's misfortune, Tomás Corrigan making the most of it.
Yeah, in fairness to Stephen Cluxton, when he came out that time, he lost his balance as he struck the kick. Ryan McCluskey intercepted it, and to be fair to Corrigan, again, that time just got onto his stronger foot, onto his right foot, and struck the ball beautifully between the posts. He is actually, Dara, the one outlet that Fermanagh have that has that little bit more quality than the others. difficult task, twice as difficult for them.
5 wides and the gap is 5 points. And here come Dublin again with Taddy Andrews out in front of James McMahon. Bernard Brogan, the goal scorer, now adds a point.
Excellent defending by Marty O'Brien.
Ryan McCluskey. Here's Barry Mulroe, and Mulroe taking that on from distance, and it's a lovely score for Barry Mulroe.
Well, I was just going to say there, Dara, to be honest about it, I thought he took the wrong option. I think he was too far out, and in fact, young Corrigan had made a run for him inside, but he struck it very well.
Dermot Connolly. Still only 5 points in it. Kieran Kilkenny now makes that 6.
Yeah, I don't mean it in a patronising way, but
Rory Corrigan. 3 Fermanagh men ahead of him. Here's Barry Mulroe, and Mulroe from this position should score and does score. That's 2 in a row for Barry Mulroe, and Fermanagh haven't gone away. They are still plugging away. Dublin doing their stuff down at the other end, but Fermanagh going along nicely.
Yeah, and showing plenty of belief and loads of confidence in themselves, competing very well so far, and the second time Mulroe has got very, very loose and scored a very good point.
And here they come again with Paul McCusker now. And McCusker, third time in the match that's happened, dropping it in wides for Fermanagh. Dublin by 5, Bernard Brogan. And Brogan swings the left boot at that. And that has made it a 6-point game again.
Yeah, what surprises me about the game so far, Dara, it's actually very, very loose. Not this ultra-defensive nature to it that I expected to see.
Philly McMahon. Little dig forward for Dermot Connolly. It's Marty O'Brien behind him. Quick hands, quick thinking, and a quick shot from Dean Rock. Over it goes.
Quick hands, quick thinking, and as you said, beautiful execution of the fight.
Dermot Connolly. It's Marty O'Brien there with him. Wonderful skill from Connolly, trying to draw that in. That is an absolutely fantastic point. You'll go a long way before you'll see better. That was stunning. The skill beforehand, look at this. And the finish was absolutely majestic.
Yeah, the little solo dummy to himself. Of course, it was bought by, I think, McCusker, or by Marty O'Brien that time. But the finish was sublime.
110 to 5 points. It could grow, and does, from Paul Flynn. I think Bernard Brogan on, heading towards half-time. Another catch from Brian Fenton. Dermot Connolly. Bernard Brogan is again in behind Niall Cassidy, working that end line, and that's a great point for Bernard Brogan. He was falling as he kicked that. Well kept in by Rory Corrigan. Paul McCusker, Sean Quigley, flighting that in. Great score from Sean Quigley. Into that breeze, that's a stunning point.
That's my man, that's a wonderful score. Again, it shows you the quality the guy has. Lovely striker of the ball. Very fine score.
From Stephen Cluxton. Here's Barry Mulroe, and Mulroe.
This unremitting application by them, playing with great combination.
Wonderful catch from Dean Rock. Hardly had time to look at the post. Instinctively, he knew where they were. And Dean Rock.
Quite a few of those Dublin scores coming in the last 7 or 8 minutes of that half, put a bit of a stretch in it. Colin O'Rourke, I suppose basically what we've got here is one of the best teams in the country against a team who are doing their best and trying hard and are just a bit off the quality mark.
Absolutely. I think that the Fermanagh game, they've kept up the struggle as best they can, but I think the point you made there when you said they did well for the first 25 minutes, and then Dublin have had 6 points in the last 6 or 7 minutes of the half, and that's the format and the sort of thing you expect of the really good teams. Coming up to half-time, the good teams generally score a good bit in that period, and then of course to do a lot of scoring in the last 10 minutes of the game, because Fermanagh put so much effort into the first 25 minutes of the game. Their energy levels were sagging a little bit and Dublin pushed on, but you have to say Dublin are at their ease in this game, no matter how much we commend Fermanagh's spirit.
Fermanagh, Kevin, showed a lot of energy, say the first, 10, 15 minutes of that game, kind of, and we're trying hard to sort of keep it close. The goal then, just, you can feel the score kind of suddenly change the tone of the whole match.
And Dublin feed off them, and the key objective that they would have had was don't let them score them. But the minute Jack McCaffrey gets this ball, if I was a defender, I would have been on red alert, because he's going to inject real pace into it. This is a side of him I haven't seen for a long time. He means exactly what happened there. That's a weighted pass to take out a defender, but Niall Cassidy gets no marks for this one. He's so far off Bernard Brogan, and he
sees him, which is a problem.
And Bernard sends him the dummy novel, pretending to go right and going left. You'll see it here in a second. Lovely movement, and Jack McCaffrey takes him out brilliantly. Now, that is perfection.
But the difference is, Kevin, in Division 3, nobody's going to give a pass like that. And that's the difference. Fermanagh are battling very gamely indeed, but it's just the extra pace, the extra power, the extra speed. They're unused to that. They're not at that level.
Just had to be touch tight. The minute something develops, where's Bernard Brogan?
Yeah, but
gotta have him.
The problem about it, Joe, was before Brogan got that goal, there were 2 or 3 Dublin points that kind of, it set the tone. It was the same kind of thing. Quick ball in, just hitting the man. What can you do?
It's just the extra pace, power, accuracy, pedigree, boys playing at a higher level, and this is why we've been preaching week in, week out that we do need a second tier urgently. And we see this today. Fermanagh are doing everything they can do. They're playing really, really creditably. But
it's on a calm day. And that is a lovely strike from Sean Quigley, and that cleared the crossbar by quite a distance, didn't it? Paddy Andrews towards Diarmuid Connolly, got out in front, McManaman's in, Tracy out quickly, the danger's still not clear, and it has gone out for a 45 from play. And Rock gave that plenty, and that is nicely done by Dean Rock. They had serious problems to deal with during the first half. They went 23 minutes of that first half against Westmeath without a score. Lost Marty O'Brien and Ryan McCluskey to black cards. Here's Paddy Andrews. 2 quick scores from the Leinster. Dean Rock. That's a wonderful kick. Dean Rock is calling for it. Flynn has spotted it. And Rock is accurate again. 3 out of 4. Ryan Jones, Owen Donnelly, Tomas Corrigan, Richard O'Callaghan, Sean Quigley, and Quigley's got a bit of space and a swing of the left boot, and that is a really nice score from Sean Quigley. 2 in the second half. He's got them both, and that was a well-worked point by Fermanagh.
Yeah, beautiful exchange of hand passes between 2 or 3 Fermanagh players. I thought they were going nowhere. Most of the hand passes.
It's Damien Kelly in front of him, the Fermanagh substitute. McManaman had a chance to shoot, but he's got it into Johnny Cooper. There's the shot from Paddy Andrews, and that's over as well.
Yeah, they're just finding it. I just love watching the way he strikes the ball of either foot.
Oh, that has gone over eventually. Alan Brogan, Michael Darragh Macaulay, off he goes. Marty O'Brien closest to it. Bernard Brogan, lovely score.
That's beautiful, beautiful to be. That Macaulay drives forward, Brogan comes out in the loop, doesn't even look at the goals, instinctively puts it over the bar. That's great movement, lovely combination, and a beautiful strike at the ball. The All-Ireland final, and I think they're the same trapdoor is there for them again this year.
Sean Quigley. Quigley has got that. He's got all 4 of their points in the second half, and the point was made at half-time that these guys will not give up. They will keep going no matter what the score is. They'll battle all the way to the finish, and that's what they're doing.
Well, they've shown commendable courage, and Quigley in particular. Like, people were kind of criticising a little bit over the last couple of weeks that he hadn't played up to his normal standard. But, you know, you have to give him quality. The penalty he got against Roscommon, was it?
Dean Rock. Bernard Brogan makes his move. Allen is also available, and Michael Fitzsimons continues forward, releases it to Bernard Brogan. They're queuing up, but Brogan doesn't need any help, and over it goes.
Yeah, very perceptive pass initially. I think it was from Dean Rock, and Brogan once more just hooks the ball over the bar, doesn't even have to look. And the other thing,
Dean Rock, Kevin McManaman. The two Brogans are close together. Here's Brian Fenton, gets it back again. Fenton outside of the right boot. Inevitable. 8 and a bit minutes of this All-Ireland quarter-final. Tomás Corrigan, he's still going. Wonderful skill from Tomás Corrigan. Damien Kelly's strike, and Sean Quigley puts Stephen Cluxton into the back of the net.
That's interesting. I think the referee umpire doesn't know whether he should go for the flag or not. It was a frontal charge maybe on Stephen Cluxton.
Did he carry the ball in over the line? But Sean Quigley certainly did.
Just watch the frontal charge on him this time, but I think the ball was carried in over the line, and I felt Sean Quigley was going to go in and lift the green flag himself.
And he is. He's given the goal. He has given the goal. Well, Stephen Cluxton is not the easiest person in the world to push backwards. Just have a look at that. He did carry it in over the line.
No, but he's pushed over the line, it must be said. His frontal charge, I think it should have been a free out.
Yeah. And the goal stands.
So how do we credit that goal? Is it an own goal, or is it a Sean Quigley goal?
They've certainly attacked quickly, but Fermanagh have got their goal. The Dublin line breached. Here's Dean Rock with the instant response on Quigley. And Sean Quigley is getting the treatment from Hill 16. Barry Mulroe with a lovely score. That's a brilliant point from Barry Mulroe. He never scores an ordinary one. That's his third in this All-Ireland quarter-final.
That's his third, but they're fabulous scores, and to be the credit for Fermanagh, they have never dropped their heads. They're still trying their best, and you know the nature of that score from Quigley has really got the crowd going.
Will keep going. So will Dublin, but they lead by 10 points. Kevin McManaman launching that in long. Bernard Brogan, brilliant hands. They're in for a goal. Dean Rock, and it's Paul Flynn, and it's into the back of the net. They were annoyed at conceding that goal, perhaps in the way it was scored as well. They've reacted. 2:22 to 1:12.
Yeah, but what's wonderful in that goal is the quality of Brogan's handling initially. It was a very difficult.
Ryan McCluskey has taken up a fabulous position. Sean Quigley is working the other side. Damien Kelly. McCluskey has stopped his run, and that is put over the bar by Conal Jones.
Is it Conal Jones or Damien Kelly? I'm not sure which, but it's a fine score, good combination. Initially, I think the hard work was done by Tomás Corrigan. Yeah, he's a man inside. Black mark against him.
That won't go down well. Here comes Conal Jones. That's a great score. That is a really top quality score. That's 2 in a row. That one definitely over the bar. 1:14 for Fermanagh.
Yeah, so nonchalant just the way he put that over the bar. Just watch it on his left foot, looked up, struck it over the bar. Beautiful.
1:15. Sean Quigley has missed that.
Yes, and the hill go back.
Carroll getting involved with Barry Mulroe, and Fermanagh getting on with it. Richard O'Callaghan. Marty O'Brien has taken up a great position at the end for another goal. That was Jack McCaffrey's challenge, and it runs loose. It's in the back of the net by Tomás Corrigan. And Dublin fell asleep. Marty O'Brien was left unmarked. Sean Quigley took the free quickly, and Fermanagh getting 2 goals against Dublin, and Tomás Corrigan will have enjoyed this in front of Hill 16. He certainly enjoyed his celebration. But Dublin's defence a bit of a mess. 222 to 214.
Yeah, Stephen Cluxton will be somewhat disappointed with that. He came out to fly.
Them I mentioned represented in this Fermanagh panel, and they have made a huge impression on Championship 2015 as Dean Rock puts that over for a
bundle Cluxton over the end line. That's
Look at that from Sean Quigley. That's a massive distance out.
Brilliant, absolutely brilliant and beautiful. Fair play to him.
He's had a little word with Alan Brogan. There is the whistle. It's all over. 2:23 to 2 goals and 15, and Pete McGrath shares a word or two with the Dublin manager Jim Gavin. For Dublin, you could argue that it's a...
We were 10 points down at half-time, and we faced a choice. We could either lie down in front of them, or we could go out and fight and show the character and spirit and skill that we'd shown all year. And in the second half, the players did that. I mean, the energy that they put into that second half, the way they kept going, some of the scores they got, some of the fluency in our play, and at the very end, when the match was over, the reaction of the Fermanagh crowd to the team, I think, was absolutely nearly unprecedented in Croke Park.
Fermanagh can be very proud of their performance today. You know, they deserve to be in the top 8 on merit in this competition, and they certainly do very well in Division 2 next year.
Now, what about your team? How pleased were you with the overall performance?
I think first and foremost, we're just pleased to be in the top 4 now and into a semi-final. Certainly, the second half performance certainly won't be good enough the next day, so that gives us a lot of areas to work on.
We knew it was going to be a daunting task, and I suppose all we could really ask from each other, and we did all week, about being honest, and we were an honest team, and we just left it all out there. And I think in the last 10 minutes, 15 minutes, it showed we didn't lay down, and I think we can take great heart from our performance in the second half, especially.
What about your goal and the honesty involved in that?
I don't know. I wasn't going to get out of the road of Stephen, so he kind of ran into me. So I didn't have time to move. That's what the problem was. But now we'll take it. I think we deserved it. You know, a wee bit of luck. You know, a couple of decisions didn't go for us in the first half, and it's not too often the small teams get a big call like that in Croke Park. Although it wasn't going to ultimately decide the game. It made a game of it and really gave us a wee bit of belief.
Yeah, good match, Sean. Well, there's so many talking points, Shane Curran, for the match. There was Dublin, very impressive. The great gutsy display from Fermanagh, the great support for Fermanagh today. But as a goalkeeper, that goal has to be the talking point, the first Fermanagh goal.
Oh yeah, absolutely. I think it's Twitter is awash with complaints from the refereeing point of view. Padraig O'Callaghan may have gone up in an area when you could bulldoze the goalkeeper into the back of the net, but
Padraig O'Sullivan,
Padraig O'Sullivan, I should say. But the rules have changed in the intervening years, and there's no doubt about it.
Is the ball over the line or anything?
Well, he's completely bulldozed into the net, and I think he's missed. The referee's totally missed here. It's a complete bulldoze in.
It doesn't matter. It actually doesn't matter if the ball is over the line, Des, because it's a free out.
It's a free out.
And it's a terrible decision.
I meant if the ball was over the line first. Yeah.
No, it wasn't over the line first, but it is a terrible decision, because if that happened in a big game, you're into Martin Sludden territory. Right, there would have been consternation.
Yeah.
We all know that if you a frontal charge on a goalkeeper is a free out. Simple as. So it's there in black and white. So I personally think it was a very bad decision by Padraig O'Sullivan. Whatever about last week's debate, referees can make mistakes on calls, referees, but he should know that a frontal charge on a goalkeeper is a free out.
Yeah, absolutely. Like as a corner forward, goalkeepers are precious, as Shane well knows. You generally don't touch them in the square. You just know that if you go to contact with a goalkeeper, generally it's a free out, let alone push him.
And Shane, did you ever get pushed over the line?
I didn't get pushed over the line, but I can remember having many an argument with an umpire like Stephen Cluxton was having there. I think he may have been asking him to Rockford's in Roscommon when he was putting up the green flag. There's no doubt. Look, I think it was a poor mistake, and it had wider consequences later on as well, because goalkeepers pride themselves on keeping clean sheets, and Stephen will know that a clean sheet was gone. It was a bad mistake by the referee, but ultimately then afterwards your composure maybe goes and your concentration goes, and the second Fermanagh goal then.
Okay, we'll have a look at that mode. Let's see the stats from the game today, because they made interesting reading as well, and the one thing that kind of jumped out was the free count.
Yeah, the 21-4, and again, I think Pádraig O'Sullivan might have refereed the game with a bit of sympathy to the weaker county to a certain degree, because I don't think Dublin are a team that fell persistently, and I think.
But you're a Dub now.
I am a Dub, yeah, I am. But I would make that call if it was any other. If it was any other two teams like that. That is imbalanced, and it is maybe a natural instinct for referees at juvenile level to a team that's behind, or you give them the odd free here and there.
21-4.
Yeah, have a look at this. Like, the frees you would say are soft, and this one, like this, I'd say James McCarthy left the arm in a bit long on this one. Like, and people are kind of saying, is it a free? Is it not? I'd say the hand is on the back there. That looks like a free to me. But certainly there's a couple of examples where they're a bit soft. Ryan McCluskey, a tough nut. I'm sure he's happy to get this free, Michael Dara, because there wasn't a whole pile of contact in that. And like Dublin defenders and midfielders would be used to tackling, disciplined tackling. Again, it looks like they have him cornered. He's going nowhere. And you would say, again, that is a soft free. Thomas Corrigan won. And like the Dublin, like you can say, you could argue, yeah, their hands are in, and but like you would say that there's plenty of numbers back. He's not going anywhere. He falls over.
Right. Okay. It was interesting now when you said the first goal might have frustrated Stephen Cluxton, because he's a very calm head normally. But the second Fermanagh goal, obviously, you might talk us through that again as a goalkeeper, Shane.
Yeah, I think as we see the camera moving here, Fermanagh, actually, in fairness, it's a good build-up. It's good build-up where the player gets inside, a good block. There's a lack of communication there, obviously, between Stephen and the defender, and the ball goes in the back of the net. And I think that's probably as a direct consequence of the earlier mistake by the referee and the giving of the goal. Sometimes, you know, you lose maybe your composure as a goalkeeper. You lose maybe keeping that commitment to keeping your composure on the pitch, and you get mistakes like that when the game is wheeling away to the end.
All right. Dublin looked great going forward, Kieran Whelan, in attack. And you were pointing out where some of the attacks were starting from the full back line. Yeah, it's an aspect of their play, Des, that we've seen a lot over the last couple of years, and it really starts with the Dublin kick-out. Certainly, Philly McMahon and Johnny Cooper, if they receive the short kick-out, they're given licence to go forward. And a lot of the time they're not tracked or picked up. And this is just an example, out to Johnny Cooper, and he gives and he goes. You know, he makes that 80-yard run. We've seen similar likes of Frank McLean and Carl Lacey in recent years, but they're given the licence to go and get involved in the play, and they can effectively be the link man in the score. They can create the overlap, and it creates a scoring chance to score for Paddy Andrews. Philly McMahon is notorious for it, because Philly generally gets the job of following a player out the middle of the park. But again, straight from a kick out, the ball is given. He continues his run. Straight down the middle. Nobody with him. But it's an effective part of the Dublin game plan. But I think you've got to give Fermanagh, you a bit of credit as well, because they came up today, and Pete McGrath showed trust in his players, and he said he tried to strike a balance of having an offensive game and keeping players up and having a defensive game. And when you are playing against a team obviously of Dublin standards, they're going to pick passes in behind the defence, but they deserve huge credit for the honesty, the grit, the determination, and not giving up to the very end. And they brought great crowd, great support, and it added to. There was a bit of atmosphere around Croke Park today, so they do deserve a lot of credit. Dublin, they're the good sides, and they did look very good. Any concerns? Where are their concerns going into the semi-final?
I think Jim Gavin will be quite annoyed tonight. I think a concession at 2:14 is not good enough from a Dublin perspective.